All right, welcome in everyone. We are live with the Workshop Wars bracket reviews. As you can see here, we are on the Division 1. This is the Pro Division. These are the playoff brackets. So as you can see, we already have a few players here in the quarterfinals. This is because they won their initial group. So we had Tofu, Freakin' Andy, Dowd, and CNZS each win their respective group, which granted them an automatic bye to the quarterfinals. And then we have all the players who finished second and third in the round of 12, where they will have to battle it out to face up against the players who each won their group. So we have Benanji versus Rodrix. We have Overtaken versus Matse. Honey Badger versus Ark. And then Happy the Andy versus Ola Dushek. And I think looking at these brackets, definitely there will be some interesting plays. Interesting sets, I should say, rather. Also, Dowd and Freakin' Andy, I think, are two of the favorites to win it, but they won't meet until the finals because of how the brackets are shaped. Now, if Dowd would have not won his group stage, then he would potentially be in these round of 12 brackets where he could face Freakin' Andy earlier. But with that being said, that is the playoff division, or the playoffs for the top division, the Pro Division, which currently has $719 worth of prize pool. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that is the biggest prize pool that the practice squad has ever got for a tournament. And welcome in, Otter. But I think that is enough about the Pro Division here. Yeah, Otter is even in first here. But with that being said, that is the playoffs for the Pro Division. Let's start off with the lowest division here next. This is Division 5. It's a relatively small group of 8 players. We have 2 groups. And with the lower or smaller group sizes, the top 2 will only advance, as we can see here in blue and red. So we have Kame 14, we have PGZ, we have Emperor Noob, and Minor Minds in Group A. And then we will have Luke Gold, Danny Winks, Kiki the 1.7-handed, and Jackson FRFX. And that is the lowest bracket. And I agree, the lowest bracket is already relatively strong. But also keep in mind that since Workshop Wars is not particularly meta, I think Elo can be somewhat inflated with how wild the early game and the workshops can be. What are the Elos? Let's see. There was a sheet somewhere. I think the lowest Elo here for the group is Minor Minds with around 800 Elo. And the highest Elo is around 1250. So that is quite the wide Elo range, I should say. But it also, of course, is very much depending on the signups. And Otter predicts that Kiki will win the group. Kiki sitting currently around 1,000 elo, I believe. Yes, current elo is 977, and Otter says Vil fighting is her thing, basically 1200 plus with Vil fighting. Well, we shall see. We shall see. I think definitely, like I said, the elo here does not matter that much in terms of meta plays because of how strong the workshops can be. But yeah, this is group or division number 5, group A, group B. I think group B definitely the stronger group in my opinion. But we shall see what the group stage shall bring. Then we come to Division 4. This is a slightly bigger division with 5 players each. Yeah, just 5 players for each group. So we have Group A and Group B once again. We have Mr. Bunny. We have Orkan Rick. We have Welcome to Rapture. We have Duhak Natria. And we have Fortiger. And Other already calling out the admin seat number 1 for Zark. Definitely admin wrecked Zark here as well. That I think that is what we do here at the practice squad. We basically admin wreck all our admins in good positions. And then we rake Maxi out of the pro division. That is our job here. But for Group B, we have Zark. We have Pisti, I believe. We have Aya Omar. We have Josenblad. And we have Crimst 1. In group number B. And we are already getting into the stronger group here. Or definitely we see the elo rise already quite a bit. But when we go to Division 3, I think we will see even more strong players. Well, welcome to Rapture, welcome in. And also, you can just kick Zark's ass if you make it to the playoffs. Given that Zark, of course, makes it as well, they will have to face quite strong opponents. And saying that Mr. Bunny has whooped your ass so far in practice, well, at least you know what his strats are, right? And Otter definitely making the correct call. You're practicing. Everyone's saying what is practice. But this is division number 3. Up next, where we have some practice squad legends, I should say. And Zhao, welcome in. And no, I am not playing in this one myself. I have decided I will not play in the workshop wars here. But for Division 3, we have in Group A, once again, the smaller groups, but we have a surprise here because there is 4 groups in Division number 3. So this is a slightly bigger division with the elo spread being relatively closer than all the other divisions. So we decided to make this one slightly bigger. But this also means that the Division 3 will only have 2 people advance from each group. So for Group A, we have Genoese Crossbowman, Dawn, Xeno, and Superhero. In Group B, we have Not Sure, we have Ghost Rider, we have Blocked by James, and we have Larry Croft. And then for Group C, we have Lorhei, we have Nephthys or Zolotl, we have Jolitis, and we have Red Kansky. And then last but not least, we have Group D. And I think Group D definitely the strongest group here. With Hoyo, we have Otter, who is in chat. We have Chipmunk, and we have Jack Warrior. And Zhao saying Otter is overrated. Well, I did see him win a deathmatch set last night, I believe. And Otter saying, why am I always with people who know me? You just know too many people, Otter. You're just in too many tournaments. Too many tournaments for Otter, so he knows everyone. But definitely a very fun group here, and I'm curious to see how the playoffs will turn out here as well. And Javesty, welcome in as well. Hoyo will either clap the group or finish that last. That is definitely one of the statements. But I think definitely, like I said, Group D is, I think, one of the stronger groups here. Maybe because I also know most of the players in that group a bit better. I might be a bit biased. But we shall see. We shall see. Like I said, this is a slightly bigger group here. And then the final division here, because Division 1 is the Pro Division. We will go to Division 2, which once again slightly bigger groups, but then only 2 groups. We'll have Aaron, we have a Mighty Space Fruit, Maxime Check. So Maxi is Rigged versus Biscuits. We have Aurico and we have Mercurial. And then in Group B, we will have Sharky, Breakfast, Javisty, Lyco, and our own admin coming in at last seed in the division, Huggy G. And Huggy did say earlier that he would be here to co-host this with me. But then he also said that he double booked. But given that me and Hester beat him yesterday in the Castle Rush duos, I think he decided he doesn't want any of the smoke. So he couldn't be here. But that is the division reveal for all the groups. So, is there anyone in chat who wants to see their own division again? Their own group? Did anyone miss something? And I know other 20 minutes amateur numbers, but I am not finished yet. I am definitely not finished yet. Other show Ghost Group, I missed it. Let's see if I can quickly find that group. I think that is the Division 3. And I assume you mean the Ghost Rider group, with Not Sure, with Ghost Rider, blocked by James, and Larry Croft. And Mikiki, don't worry. Don't worry. We still have handbook reading. I'm still going over the maps. It's not going to be finished in just 20 minutes. But this is also the first time I am doing a bracket reveal. Originally, Zark would do this, but since his apartment got flooded, unfortunately, he could not do it. Nobody will read the handbook. That's why I am reading it, so they have the audio book. Don't worry about it. It's also hot as hell here, so I kind of want to be over with it. But, like I said, Division 5, smallest division in terms of players, I think. Oh, no, not the smallest. There is equal size, but 2 brackets of 4 with only the top 2 who will proceed to the playoffs. Then for Division 4, we have 2 groups of 5. And Mojito Monday, welcome in as well. And yes, I should have had a co-host, but my co-host Huggy didn't show up. So now I'm kind of rushing it. But we have, with Division 4, 2 groups of 5 players. Then for Division 3, we have 4 groups of 4 players. Like the group A and B are here. And then we have group C and D as well. Pisty saying he'll play Zark with a controller. I would love to see that. I will cast that. I will definitely cast that if you do that. I'll probably even cast it if you are not playing with a controller anyways. But then the last division is once again a division of 10 people with 2 groups of 5 each. But with that being said, that is the bracket reveal. Technically, everyone could start scheduling now. I'm sure Maxi is already in the DMs of all of these players. And if he's not, I kind of wonder what he is doing. Although I don't think I've seen Maxi in chat yet. Oh, I haven't seen Maxi in chat. Where is Maxi? Did he find the brackets early and just start scheduling anyways? 0 chat elo. Exactly. But now to the fun part. The Workshop Wars handbook. And I will quickly make this a bit smaller so we can have it a bit bigger on screen here. Perfect. All right. So the Workshop Wars is a tournament hosted by the Practice Squad. Admins are Zark, me, Huggy, G, and John Perkins. Although with Zark's current flooding, Zark might be a bit less reachable. So if admins are needed, I suggest you reach out to us 3, but you can always just do the @admin ping in the Practice Squad and then admins will come to you. I won't go in too much detail over the index here. But Workshop Wars is a 1v1 random map tournament. I assume everyone knows what they signed up for, hopefully. But I will go over, I think, the most important things here for the handbook. Because each map incorporates one or more trade workshop based from the base map Aftermath. Players will fight against 9 different maps, and each of the maps will have a different kind of way that the workshop spawns or is incorporated into it. The format, we did change this up a little bit because of the numbers of signups for the community event, but for the pro event we had the top 20 players divided in 4 groups, and then we seeded them as follows. So it's seed number 1 in group A, then seed number 2 in group B, etc, etc, and then we just snake through it. We did do the same thing for the community event with the lower divisions as well, but then we adjusted the group sizes accordingly. And then for the knockouts, it is the second in group A versus the third in division B. They will face the winner of group C, and that will be the case as well for the community events. Although we will probably just do first and second from, or first from group A versus second from group B for the divisions with only 4 people per group. Then for the tie breaks, in the group stage, players will advance out of their group stage based on the most set wins. In the event of a tie in set wins, the tie breaks are as follows. First we do head-to-head. Then we do most individual games won. Then we do fewer individual games lost. And then most opponent home maps won. If all players are still tied, and I think this will only be the case in terms of like 3-way ties. So highly unlikely that this will happen, but if it is still a tie after that, then a single elimination game will be played between the players, with the player finishing their games first, selecting the map after 1 ban from the opposing player. So technically, if there is a 3-way tie here, or a tie, then Maxi could potentially be the one to select the map, because Maxi always tries to schedule his games relatively fast. I'm not going over signups and registration. This is already done. I will go over the timeline. Timeline did move up just a little bit. For the pro event, the round of 12, technically it starts today. But hopefully will be finished by August 3, then quarterfinals afterwards. Then of course semi-finals. And then hopefully the finals can be played on August 9th, but that is also a bit subject to the player availability. For the community events, the round robin starts today and should be completed by August 25th. So we have roughly 1 month to finish the group stage here. And then the round of 12 from August 25th to 29th. Then the quarterfinals from August 29th to September 4th. And then we have hopefully the semifinals in September 4th to 11th. And then the finals are on the weekend of September 11th to the September 13th. There will be basically no extensions granted for round robin. For the playoffs, we sometimes will grant some extensions, but please try to just not make it like too much of an extension. If it's 1 day, 2 days, it's kind of the limit there. But that is only if scheduling issues are there and not because you just don't want to play. Then the prizes, if someone still wants to contribute to the prize pool, we can use this link. It's in the handbook. It will send you right to the website where we can see who has contributed here. We can see all the players here who contributed. And the total prize pool. It's slightly off screen here, but the total prize pool currently is still at $719. For the top division, the prize split will be as follows: 40% for first place, 30% for second, and then 15% each for third and fourth. And the current prize pool should maybe be updated in the handbook here as well, which I will do after the stream. And then I think the most interesting part of the handbook here is the maps, and I will go over the maps in game as well, so don't worry. But we have Aftermath. This is the classic Trade Workshop map. This is also the, I believe, base game version of the map. Then we have Amazon Aftermath. It is based on the triple tunnel map that is made by Cresini, and each of the tunnels will have one workshop. Then we have Before Math, which is basically Aftermath, but with walls. But kind of important here, it is a regicide with a king, and the starting res is slightly different. However, it's all baked into the map, so you can just keep it as a random map. But like I said, it is regicide, so if the king dies, you are defeated. And then we have a Bog Aftermath, which is essentially Aftermath combined with Bog Islands. And then we have the Dutch Blitz. It's a hybrid map based on Frisia, where the workshops spawn not on your own island, so you cannot just sit on it and enjoy the free res. You will have to go out there and contest it. Then we have Huangshan Mountain Madness, which is a 2TC map with 4 workshops. One of the workshops will be between your 2 starting TCs, and then the other 2 will be between your TC and the opponent's TC. The trickle rate for this map is slightly reduced, given that there is a few more workshops here, and the same goes for Quick Maths, which is Nomad, essentially. It is Nomad with the 6 tricked workshops. So with 6 workshops, the trickle rate is reduced. I am sure that Huggy or John Perkins can give the exact numbers on how much it is that they give less in terms of what the standard trickle rate is, but given that the Nomad start will give you a high probability of getting at least 1 or 2 with your starting vills, and Huggy, welcome in chat, it's like a third of the trickle rate. So that is good to know for everyone. And then last but not least, we have Trade Seas, which is essentially islands where players also start with a junk, so you can immediately go out into the seas to start trying to capture the workshops. And Mercurial, what is the default rate? The default rate is based on the Aftermath trickle rate. And I'm sure John can properly number crunch according to Huggy, so each of the admins are currently... Oh wait, we forgot the most important one. Trauma Pit. But the default rate will be added to the handbook once all the admins can decide which admin is responsible for finding out what the trickle rate is. But last but not least of the maps is Trauma Pit, because Chaos Pit is not traumatic enough. It is Chaos Pit, but the workshops here are on the outside. We did add a small wall or non-wallable terrain thing outside, so you cannot wall out your opponent from chopping through. You of course can still tower, stuff like that. Then for the map draft, map draft will always occur first, of course, before the civilization draft, before you start your set. In both drafts, the player listed on top will be the host of the match. So if we, for example, go here to... this is Division 2, Group B. We have Sharky and Breakfast up first, and Sharky will be the host here. But as you can see, Sharky and Breakfast here. Sharky will be the host here in the set versus Breakfast, but then in the set versus Huggy, Huggy will be the host and Sharky will be the guests. So both drafts, the player listed on top there is the host. Losing player will always choose the next map. They are able to choose from whatever maps are left. Maps cannot be repeated. The map drafts for the best of 3 are as follows. Host bans, guest bans. I think it might be easier to just show the draft here. And I see that there seems to be an issue here with the images. Not sure if that is on my end or if that is a draft thing. But we have the host with a global... there it is. It just needed to load. Host will start with a ban, then the guest will start with a ban and has the first pick. Then it's host ban, or host pick, then it's banning until there is one final map left. The civilization draft for the group stage here as well. We will have the host start with a ban, then 2 bans for the guest, 2 bans again for the host, and the guest with a final ban. Then a hidden global pick for both the host and the guest. And after that, it is the host has first pick, then 2 picks for the guest, 2 picks for the host again, and a final pick for the guest to make a total of 4 civilizations. Then we have the miscellaneous rules kind of things. All games should be played on the latest patch throughout the event. If the game has an update, then the new patch will be considered the latest patch. And any new civilizations that are released will not be eligible to be played in the tournament. I assume that there will be no civ releases in the upcoming 2 months, but who knows? And then the general rules. We expect all players, streamers, and admins to respect each other. Bad behavior, insults, and racism will not be tolerated and will lead to disqualification and removal from the Discord server. So in short, just don't be a dickhead and you should be fine. In terms of insults, definitely like friendly banter will not be considered insults. But I think there is also a clear line of what is and is not an insult. So yeah, just don't be a dickhead, and I think you should be fine. Yes, it is a handbook stream. We are almost through to the handbook as well, and then we will still go over the maps. But players, they must play at least one set per week, and they are responsible for scheduling their own games. Based on the communication and activity in the scheduling channels, admins do reserve the right to admin laws disqualify players based on the communication or flexibility in their times offered. Like, you cannot just go out there and say, hey, I'm only available for this 1 hour each week to play, and then tell people, yeah, but I was available and people couldn't schedule with me. So please be a bit flexible with scheduling your sets. As for streaming, people are allowed to cast games, stream games. Please provide a link to the Discord and a logo from either the Practice Squad or the Trade Workshop Wars. The logo is in the Discord. It is the same logo that I have up there. If you are a player streaming your POV, please don't interact with chat. Disable chat if you have it somewhere where you can see it. You are allowed to stream your POV, just don't read the chat. I think that is the most important thing there. Then for the restarts, they are only allowed in the unlikely event that a map is bugged. And they should be called with the first or before the 4th in-game minute have elapsed. Then a map is considered bugged if resources are missing or 50% of their surface area is inaccessible. Keep in mind, this is probably not happening, but if it happens, call it out before 4 minutes in game. You cannot just say, yeah, it is the thing, Huggy. You were not here to slow me down, so I speedrun all the divisions. That's kind of what happened. So I blame this all on you. You said you would be here and then you just didn't show up. But yeah, let's see, where was I? Yeah, a map is considered bugged if resources are missing or at least 50% of their surface area is inaccessible, being blocked by a forest or another resource. If you call a restart thinking you're missing a gold only to discover your opponent has the same amount, then you just forfeited the game. If you communicate with your opponent and your opponent says, I'm fine with just restarting, then that is also fair. They don't have to take the admin win on that, especially since this is the community event. And likely people are playing here for fun, hopefully. They can also just say, okay, let's just restart. But that is up to your opponent then. So don't be salty because it is in the handbook that you technically just forfeited the game. In the event of a disconnect, a restoration is preferred. But that is not always an option, so try to find what works for you or reach out to one of the admins for a decision if you cannot come to one yourself. And Huggy, thanks for not showing up and then still being stood up. So, but it's all fine. It's all fine. Obviously, cheating is not allowed. Bug exploits, any form of exploits are considered cheating. Cheating in any form will definitely lead to disqualification from this and any future tournaments. So just don't cheat. For the late penalties, if a player is late to a scheduled set, they receive an admin loss of 1 game per 20 minutes. So for example, if a player is 20 minutes late, they just forfeit game number 1. If they are 30 minutes late and the set is a best of 3, they will still start down 0 to 1. But if they are 45 minutes late, for example, they will just lose the set. If they are 45 minutes late in a best of 5, they will just start down 2-0. For the communication with people during a game, other than your opponent, that is not allowed. It is forbidden to receive any in-game information from third parties, which is also why reading chat while streaming your POV is not allowed. I know it is hard to prove, but that is something that if it is caught, then you can still be disqualified for that. Then the most fun rule of all, laming, tower rushes, and town center drops. They're allowed. There is one exception to Nomad. And welcome in Finn Nipper. This is the community event, so this is an all ELO. But signups are closed, unfortunately, so you cannot sign up anymore. And I see Maxi is also in chat. Maxi missed all the group stage bracket reveals, but is right on time for his favorite part, the laming rule. Like I said, laming, tower rushes, and town center drops are allowed. Vil fighting also allowed. There is an exception to Nomad where no resources, laming, walling in opponent villagers, or intentional TC drops are allowed within the forced 4 minutes of the game. Those are in-game minutes. If players inadvertently place their TCs within range of each other in Nomad, then it's just a restart with the same civs. It is not a person who plays down their TC last or first or whatever who gets the win. The map will just be restarted. Players are allowed to fight with their villagers as soon as the game starts. So all the Vil fighting will be allowed. And we definitely look forward to seeing your creative strategies unfold. Stream sniping is also strictly forbidden. If players are seen to be stream sniping, then they will be disqualified. If there is any suspicious activity, please supply evidence for the admins to review. For the hosting, players should work out between themselves who hosts the lobby, but usually it is the person who also is hosting the draft. Mods are allowed as long as they are available in the official mods workshop, and the admin team highly recommends every player enables the boxing villager mod. I think that is definitely a required mod besides, of course, the map pack. Then for the lobby settings, we have 2 minutes spec delay. Don't forget to enable hidden civilizations. The server should always be whichever server is fair for both players. So it's not one person with 10 ping and the other with 200 ping. We should find something that is roughly 100 then for each. For the game settings, the data mod should be default. And then the rest of the settings are pretty much all the usual settings. But please make sure that the settings here match the settings that you have in your lobby. Another important thing about recording and uploading games, try to use the replay packer, because then in terms of if there is a best of 3 and there is a 2-0 victory, there will still be 3 replay files, and that will make it better for the persons who cast the sets. But also important is to include an add to both players, the match result, of course, with a spoiler tag. You can attach a spoiler tag by using these 2 pipe symbols. If you paste this message in Discord, then that will be a spoilered message. Usually you can just copy the text that the replay packer provides. That should be enough. This is an example here of how a message in the results channel should look like. The practice squad also has a bot created by John Perkins, who will handle all these results as soon as the result is posted. But it supports both the AoE2 record files or just a zip file that is provided by the replay packer. So you can just upload it in whatever way you want. The bot will react with this reaction thingy. If the results has been posted to the spreadsheet. If it does not post this icon, then something went wrong. Please contact an admin if it does that, so we can figure out what went wrong and why the results have not been updated in the spreadsheet. If there is a restart or admin restart for any reason, do not post the first rec, post only the actual game. If a player is dropped from the game and the game is then restored, you need to upload both parts. If a player drops and one player concedes rather than restoring, so let's say I'm fighting Huggy on water and we are definitely in the winning position and Huggy accidentally cuts off his internet and therefore drops, he can still concede the game, and we only need to upload the one rec. Do please afterwards check the results in the spreadsheet to see if the bot actually recorded the correct results. And Huggy tried to do that on Tuesday. Didn't work. At least you tried. At least you tried. And the draft links are also posted to the spreadsheet, provided they are included in the same message as your rec files. That is, I think, also important. Sometimes you see people post this part of the message first and then have a second message with the game recs. This whole thing needs to be one message. So don't hit enter before you have your game files and your results all in Discord. That's it for the handbook. Now for the fun part. Can quickly go over some of the groups again for the players who missed it, but won't go over that too long. Division 5 will have 2 groups of 4 players, where the top 2 will advance to the playoffs. Then we have Division 4, where we have 2 groups of 5, where the top 3 will advance to the playoffs, and the player who finishes first in their group will end up... Oh, wait, can't see Group A. Yes, definitely pro streamer here. Let me quickly fix that. Let me quickly fix that. That kind of got messed up when I went into the handbook and made it a bit bigger, so letters would be more readable. But here we have, once again, the Division 5, 2 groups of 4 people. Division 4, like I said, in Division 4, or the divisions with 5 people per group, number 1 will be granted an automatic bye to the semifinals, where the numbers 2 and 3 will need to battle it out in the round before that to see who will face up against the winners of their group. Then for division number 3, we have 4 groups of 4 players. We also have Group C and D over here. This is the biggest division in the tournament. And then, of course, the final division, Division 2, the division that Maxi missed, but probably is already in chat now that he sees this with his opponents here. Right. That is it for the handbook reading and for the bracket review. Oh, wait. That is definitely not what I wanted to do. But now the fun part. And that is the maps. And as I am booting up the game, and making sure that my map settings are correct here. All right. And also, of course, need to switch over here. All right. So, we're starting off with Aftermath. This is just the base version of Aftermath that is in the game. So there are 2 workshops on each side. Your walls explode, so like you heard, you did get the attack notification sound. But it is kind of essential to get these workshops. Definitely some res around, but also quite open in terms of map. And the AI, of course, is already bringing in all their res. That is Aftermath. Then up next, we have Amazon Aftermath. And for this, I'm not following the order of maps the way that they are in the handbook. I'm just following the order in which they appear in the map selection here. Also keep in mind that I have enabled all visible, so I can just show the map. But that is definitely not the case when you are hosting the lobby. But we have here 3 tunnels. Each tunnel will have a trade workshop. They will also have quite a few javelinas and some relics nearby. There is a small pond here in the back where you can potentially fish boom. And Superhero, welcome in. You just missed the brackets. But you are in Division 3 and your group is with Genoese, Crossbowman, Dawn, and Xeno. But like I said, 3 trade workshops, 3 tunnels, triple the fun, potentially. Then up next, we have Before Math. And like I said, this is also in the handbook, but it is regicide. But since all of that is baked into the script itself, you can just leave the lobby settings as they are. And then you start with the king as well. But this is just the regular fortress, but then with 2 trade workshops. And if you lose the king, then you will be defeated as well. Then we will have game. Bog Aftermath, which is essentially Aftermath combined with Bog Islands. But once again, 2 trade workshops, some relics here and there. I think docks here can only be placed around your edge here. And then there are some places here on the water as well, so you're not just limited to where you place your docks. But definitely for the starting location, probably the best to have your docks here. There is no fish, so keep that in mind. And I agree that the map is similar to Mangrove Haven there. Up next, we have the Dutch Blitz. You start here. The workshops are on the outer sides here. They are accessible just by walking to them, but since there is fish, might be worth to add in a dock as well. Your player or your opponent is also reachable just by walking to them. But definitely worth it, I think, to get control of both workshops, and definitely, at least for this one, to protect it with some navy. And Hester in chat with gekoloniseerd, and definitely colonized. I don't want to go too much in depth in terms of strats for the maps, because I think it's much more fun if the players figure out for themselves what they want to do. Then we have Huangshan Mountain Madness, which has 2 TCs. One of the workshops here starts in between your TC, and then one of them starts within both TCs of your opponent. So I think this one will be the one where there will be the most villager fighting, because you're essentially guaranteed to have at least 1 workshop and then 2 TCs producing villagers to fight over the other workshops. Then up next we have Quick Mats, which is essentially Nomad. It is also a Nomad start. But like you can see, there is a lot more workshops on this map. But the workshops on this map do provide a little less in terms of trickle rates. But you do start with 3 villagers. There is no treaty. So treaty lines are not visible like on regular Nomad. So you cannot just see where your opponent is because you walked by them in the first 5 seconds of the map and then your opponent places a TC somewhere. And then up next, we have Tradesies. Tradesies is essentially islands. There are 2 workshops out here on the sides of the map. There is no workshops in the middle. There are, however, relics on the 2 islands in the middle, and you start with 2 relics on your own island as well. So technically, if you could sneak your monk over while you're fighting over all the trade workshops, you could potentially get a relic victory. Alright, and then last but not least, we have Trauma Pit. And Trauma Pit here is essentially Chaos Pit. There is no fox in the middle. There is no gold in the middle, so you will need to chop out. One important thing to note is that the initial line behind the trees is non-wallable terrain, so you cannot wall out your opponent from chopping through. We did decide to add that in because if you just chop out and then keep walling, the workshops are too much of an advantage where you would just win the game automatically. However, you can definitely still tower. But towers require a lot more investment and still provide a possibility to chop out, whereas walling would not provide that. And that is it for the maps as well. And I think with that, we switch back to the brackets. It's probably also the end of the stream. If there is anyone in chat who... Here. There's anyone in chat who still wants to see their group, if they missed it, they want to see their division, see another division maybe potentially as well. Now is the time to speak up. Brackets will be released as well after the stream. Scheduling is open. But I think that is basically what all the important things that I needed to cover are covered. As for the pro event, I will be doing the casting for that for the playoffs. So hopefully all sets will be covered by me. If not, then hopefully someone else can. Don't you have a mask? I unfortunately don't have a mask in real life. But welcome in Ville's Gambit. But like I was saying, I think for the pro event I will cast all the remaining sets for the non-pro event, I will probably cast some sets from there as well, but it is definitely too much to cast all of them. But I will definitely be taking recommendations if sets were fun or interesting or some wild stuff was happening. And I will try to at least catch a few matches from each division. I cannot promise from each player, but at least from each division I will try to cast a few sets. And I think that is it. Don't think I missed anything. In terms of divisions, all the players are covered. No one in chat spoke up about wanting to see which division they were in. So I think it's time to end the stream here. I will be sending you guys over to Otter. He is doing some Tarnished Deathmatch Season 7. And I think he is about to begin. At least the score still says 1-1, so that should be right on time. So hopefully you guys will enjoy Otter's stream. For all the players in the Workshop Wars, hopefully you guys enjoy it. If not, you signed up for it, so you kind of should have known what you were getting into, given the show matches and the promos we did for it. You should be aware of what you were getting yourself into. For all the players, hope you guys can schedule all your sets. For the casters, hopefully there will be some good moments. And for all the viewers, hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully see you guys when I'm casting more sets. But for now, I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.